Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so excited to have all of you all here. I am not sure if it's live or not. We will see. But if we are live, hey, if we're not, we'll see. This is the part about a live production, right? So my name is Monica Henderson, and I am the founder and creator of MinkLife Motivation. And I am so excited to spend yet another Monday with you here at MinkLife Motivation live. Let's get this party started. Who's with me? And here we go. So at MinkLife Motivation, our mission is to help millions of professionals worldwide change their lives and grow their businesses by using the MinkLife Motivation training system. And we do this by helping people with the personal, business, brand, and network development. With that, we come together each week right here on MinkLife Motivation Live to help you get motivated, stay inspired, keep networking, and gain knowledge so that you can design a life that is built by you, for you, healthier, wealthier, and fulfilled. This week on MinkLife Motivation Live, I am so excited to dive in again. We're back on our regular schedule post-conference, and we're going to talk about how does focusing on lifestyle, the lifestyle you want, the one you desire, help you making decisions. And we're going to do that by calibrating your life. Each week we come with a different one, and this time it's time for us to get motivated. Now, each month we have the power of 6 as our theming, and this month we are focused on that you have the right to live in your truth. And to help me have this conversation with you are my panel of professional support experts. This week's motivators are Marcia and McCray. Marcia, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
She is the principal of the Brand Naked Agency, author of the Busy Entrepreneur Guys series, and also a MinkLife Motivation licensed trainer. We have Andrea Gewirtz.
Hey, guys.
And Andrea is a health and wealth thrive strategist, founder of WellBeing and Worth, and a MinkLife Motivation master trainer. And last but not least, our special guest this week is Melissa Deely. She is the Integrative Health Practitioner, owner at Better Brain Health, and a dynamic speaker from the next global virtual conference. Hey, girls, hey.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
So every single time we get ready to do one of these shows, I'm always dreading it, like, oh gosh, we got to do another show. And then the minute I see you guys and we're on live, I'm like, wait, but I get to talk to my friends. So I'm so excited to have you all here and to be kind of in this space with me. And I am especially excited to have Melissa on because she is one of our new besties here in the MinkLife Motivation universe. So welcome so much for coming on the show, solo dolo this time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with all of you.
So in this section, we kind of ask the question and then we have a little chat. And so I want to share the question, which is, why is taking the time to define what you want for your lifestyle so important? I mean, when we're talking about living in our current truth, right? When we're talking about living in this new space in life, why is it so important to actually take the time to think about what it is that you want to do? And I'm going to start with our special guest first, Melissa.
I think that it's really important because so often we just kind of get sucked into life pulling us wherever it's taking us. And that is happens as a result of all the other people's demands on our life, et cetera, et cetera. And when we actually define what we want, we get to be in a position of control and a position of choice. And we don't look back and go, where did all that time go and what did I do with it? Instead, we can look back and go, yes, I planned to do that and I got that done. Now, sometimes you might be like, I don't know what I want to do in my life. And so then I invite you to ask yourself, what don't you want to do in your life? Because usually we are pretty clear on what we don't want. And when we understand that, it helps us better define what we do want so that we can then make that our reality.
That is 100% of what we do here at MinkLife Motivation. This is why she's our new bestie, guys, because that's exactly the point, right? The reason why we have the training system that we have is to help people identify what it is, when things go right and when things go wrong, and how you can bring in more of the things go right, right? So she like literally walked right into our program there by her answer. So thank you for that. Marcia, what about you? Why is it so important to take that time to think about what you want?
So what I usually go into, I talk about, you guys know this already, I always talk about Google Maps. So you would never enter just the city. If you were going to a friend's house for dinner, you would never just enter the city and state, right? If you did, you would get like a gazillion places in that city and state, right? So that's why it's so important. Like I say in the brand building part, it's so important in your personal life to actually have specific directions, like a specific vision to get you to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way you can take the steps needed to accomplish what you want to accomplish in your personal life. So that's why I'm like, that's why it's so important to be, just direct and know exactly what you want and to define it so that you can take the steps to get there.
Yeah, it's 100%. And you know, what's interesting is, so you're like, I talk about this in the brand section because, Marcia is our brand guru, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I created the program, this section ends up in the same spot with the branding, and a lot of the conversation happens that way. And what we don't realize is some of the things that we do in our business, actually, there's a direct muscle, or the same actions actually have to happen in your life as well as in your business.
True.
And so yes, you say that in the branding, but it definitely is super important to curate that lifestyle for yourself in your personal life as well. Andrea, what about you?
Well, they didn't leave me much to talk about. No. I was waiting to use that one. I was like, oh, I get to be snarky. Okay, so all right. I know, it's Monday. So, both of these brilliant women and Monica, let this, she's like, what does that mean anyway? Can you tell it's been a rough week? I really talked about, one, charting a course, like having a path. What is it that, I love that you said, what is it that you don't like? And just from an NLP standpoint, that's usually what you want. And then it's just a way of reframing it. So I love that in terms of what I do. And I the only thing I guess I could add is that if we are not emotionally attached to a strategy, we can't execute it.
That's right.
And so the emotion that comes with declaring what you want and like living in that moment to get what you want is really what propels an individual, a society, a community, all of us. Like there's so many things that by just making a declaration, I have a senior and I'm like, you're going to have many declarations. This isn't the last one that you're going to do just because it's college. This is the beginning of all the major ones you're going to be doing. So you might as well pick one that you are passionate about, that it doesn't matter to you to get up and do. And so that's how you create your lifestyle, your life, your work. And of course, as Monica's going to say, we can help you with that. But truly, all the people on this call can help with some aspect of that definition of really sussing out what kind of life you want and then the strategies to get to it, because that's what all of us are about. So
yeah, I get goosebumps when you said that, because one of the things, so how I ended up in this box talking to all of you on Facebook about a program was just that. I took that time to figure out why I wasn't getting what I wanted. And I actually wrote down what I really wanted. And what was interesting about that time versus every other time, because we always do that, right? Oh, I want this for my life and I want that for my life and this, that, or the other. But this time I was like, I got to rebuild anyway. So I might as well just go for it, right? And I'm just gonna do a broad stroke and make it fancy and throw glitter on it and just like really kind of go in to make a better like the best possible conceivable life that I can actually,
Mhm.
that I would create. And I'm not going to give myself any excuses of why I can't have it. Right. And when I did that, that actually was how I ended up exactly where I needed to be and where I really wanted to be. And I get to spend most of my life, my lifestyle is curated, right? It was all chosen because
Mhm.
I had that moment of clarity of like, I'm gonna go for it. And so I'm hoping that everybody is motivated to actually just go for it, because I think each of us have had a moment like that, right? Where we've sat down, we're like, no, I gotta go for it now. And would you all say you're there now, where you're pretty dang close to some of those things that
Oh,
you
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Is there
Definitely.
more? Yeah. But I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, that's what gets you up every day. But am I
Mhm.
really finally marching in the path of my perceived truths? Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it feels great. So even when you don't feel like it, like Mondays before the call, you guys should see us at 8 o'clock in the morning when we
I know, we look, we're
Look at
just
that.
like, whoa.
we should have a before and after picture.
Yeah, the before and after is
Yeah, really.
Picture of
astonishing.
us right now going, "Whew, you have changed in 3 hours. Tremendous. Like, whoa, wake up. But for sure, like that choice, like I loved it. I loved that you said it's the choosing. And it's fun
Mhm.
choosing because if it doesn't work out, you get to choose again.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
it's
try
true.
that. Didn't like that flavor. It's all right. We'll do another one. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
true.
What about you, Melissa? Did you have that moment of choice, and are you closer?
Definitely closer. And yeah, definitely. I was open to being guided and I followed. And
Mhm.
it's been so beautiful getting to where I'm at in my journey now. And as Andrea said, there's always more,
Mhm.
but to know that you're exactly on the right path and be able to leap out of bed every morning with passion to start your day because you're excited to get out there and do more of what you were put on this earth to
Oh,
do.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, Marcia.
oh God, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, so like, I love what you said, Melissa. You said you're in the position of control and choice. And that's so true. It's like you can control like certain things in your life. They're intentional.
Yes.
And I think that's what I like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's
of
not
course,
about being that control freak person.
right, right,
It's about not having the control taken away so that all of a
absolutely.
sudden your time is gone.
Yep, it's true.
Mhm.
It's so true. Yep.
So I'm intrigued a little by what Melissa was saying, and I would really want her to share a little bit more. So this is our section about staying inspired, and Melissa is on today to actually share her entrepreneurial journey with us.
Oh, you're muted, Monica.
You're muted.
Someone to call me. She is the owner at Better Brain Health. She is an integrative health practitioner, a solopreneur, and a world traveler, which I'm sure we will get to at some point in this call. But Melissa, please share your story with us.
Well, thank you very much. And I would love to do that. And I think I might just start with that world traveler a little bit there. I'm originally Australian. I know I don't sound like it. On my 6th birthday, we moved to Japan and I lived there for the next 10 years. And 30 years ago, I came to Canada, to Whistler, British Columbia for just one season and never left. And in between, I spent 18 months traveling between getting from Australia to here. So typical Aussie traveler. And yes, I love to travel and believe that it's one of the greatest sources of education we have is to get out there and learn about the world around us. But to my more recent story and how I've come into finding my purpose and passion, it all started 5 years ago when I got laid off. And I know a lot of people have been laid off recently, and so you'll relate to this. It's hard. And I had been with one company for 24 years. And when big fish bought little fish, they laid me off. They gave me an hour's notice to clear out my desk and no word of thanks. It was heartbreaking. And in that moment, though, I knew two things. I knew that I never wanted to work for someone else again. All that loyalty, and look where it got me. And whatever I did next had to really be of service. And as I said earlier, I was open to discovering whatever it was that I was going to be doing next, because I really didn't know. So absolutely open to being guided. And later that year, I was introduced to a company that specialized in brain health supplements. And I was really intrigued by that because I realized I'd never been taught how to look after my brain, and neither had anybody else that I talked to. And we had near epidemic levels of Alzheimer's and dementia. And could looking after our brain and giving our brain good nutrition help us resolve that issue? And so I started learning about the brain. And about 4 months later, my oldest daughter, who was in grade 12 at the time, got a concussion in her first high school soccer game of the season. So here was an opportunity for me to bring this brain nutrition to her healing journey that no one else was yet talking about. And then 2 months later, my younger daughter got a concussion. And when I got that phone call from the school that she had a suspected concussion from gym class and could I please go pick her up, I was driving and I literally looked up at the heavens and said, okay, this is how you're showing me my path, but can you please stop taking out my children? It was heartbreaking to watch them go through these concussions. But I was able to go to all of their appointments and really guide their healing journey because I wasn't working full time at this point. And it made me wonder, what do other people do with concussions or other health issues that don't have a parent to guide them on this healing journey? And I realized too that I had a passion for it and that there was a gap in the market in that people needed this. And so I went back to school and I went to Health Coach Institute and became a health coach. And I followed that up with several mastery coaching level certifications. And then I found the Integrative Health Practitioner training. And that's where I've truly found my home, because this now gives me the skills and tools to help people truly heal and find their root cause issue of their health issue so that we can bring about true healing. You see, the world is the sickest it's ever been. We're more sleep deprived, stressed out, poor nutrition than we've ever been. Chronic illness is epidemic, whether it be diabetes or heart disease or obesity or some forms of cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, leaky gut, autoimmune diseases, and more. All of these can be healed with lifestyle changes and understanding the root cause so that we can then lead you on a healing protocol with all natural herbs and supplements. Our medical system, however, is broken. And this is my biggest frustration, that our medical system, our big pharma, and our food industry are all for-profit industries. And what's happening is that they're making decisions based on optimizing shareholder return and not based on optimizing human health. And that's where it's become broken. So our doctors, it's not their fault. They went to med school wanting to help people, but they're within a system that is allowing them only 15-minute appointments with people, and they're being told to write more prescriptions and write more prescriptions because that earns more return for the shareholders. So what I do that's different is I work with people starting out with offering a complimentary call just to get to know me. We spend an hour in our first session getting your whole health history because that matters. I use functional medicine labs, the science and data of which to see inside your body to figure out exactly what's going on so we can understand that true cause, the root cause. And then I give you a wellness protocol that is very personalized to you that you can follow over the next 3 to 4 months as I continue to work with you to guide your healing. I am not a doctor. I do not diagnose. I do not cure. Instead, we look for root cause, we find toxicities and release them, we support deficiencies, and we bring your body back into balance, at which point it will heal itself, just like it does a cut finger or a broken arm.
I love that your journey, like most truly heart-centered entrepreneurs, really kind of came out of personal need. And then your desire to say, wait a minute, if this is a deficit for me, then this is probably a deficit for someone else. And that just is how the world's going to change, right? That's how we're going to, as entrepreneurs, we're going to save the world, right? Because
Absolutely.
we are, because we're coming from that space of like, I see a problem. No one else is going to do anything about it. It's fine. I got you. I'll take care of it myself. So I'm so, I resonated with you. Like, I can't have you take out another one of my kids to give me this sign. I'll take that sign. I mean, I don't know how many of us have had, and I don't know if Marcia and Andrea want to chime in, but we've all had those kind of hard kicks in the back to go in the directions that we needed to go in some ways in that way. And so that definitely resonated with me. What about you, Andrea? Did any of her story resonate with you?
Oh, a lot of them. We're soul sisters. She doesn't know it yet. We just haven't had time to get to know each other better, but we are. I mean, both of us have this health mania that we can't be quiet about. But as Monica alluded to children, my children have profound food allergies. And when I think about all the pivots and the decisions that led me to be where I am today, I would have to say that aside from my own health issues, but when my offspring became involved and it became, I'm taking care of you, I better do a good job, I got more serious, right? Like I got more purposeful. Like, yeah, I slack off. But when it comes to my children and making sure that they develop into whole, happy, well-fueled people, I got really smart about nutrition. So that really resonated with me, and good for you. And I'm sorry about your kids, because there's nothing worse than when you are like, you're not giving me good information, buddy,
Right.
whatever. And then they're like, well, this is all we got. And I'm like, yeah, I don't take that. So yeah, we definitely.
Well, and the great news is both girls have fully recovered from their concussions.
Absolutely.
So they're doing well. That was, 4 years ago now. And it just shows when we have all of the pieces and we truly understand the interconnectedness of our body, how it all works. And it truly is designed to self-heal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Mm-hmm.
Marcia, did any of her story resonate with you?
Actually, yeah. I guess as far as I'm concerned, like my health, I've just, like, you guys know, I used to work myself to death. And honestly, I would have been on all kinds of medication and everything had I not gone through the Principles program and Andrea's detox cleanse, because I would have been on all kinds of, drugs. So, but yeah, so I do understand that. Yeah, I do understand, I mean, I can't understand as far as your children, because I haven't had that problem, but, I do understand about how health can impact your life and can change your whole world upside down. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And the more we learn, the more we benefit from that, right?
It's true.
I started out in brain health. And then as I continued my research and learning, I realized, well, the gut-brain connection.
Yep.
And then now I believe the gut is actually our command center and our brain is the operation center that makes it happen.
No, it's
because
true.
For every message from brain to gut, there's actually 9 from gut to brain. Mm-hmm. So I've shifted and I do so much more work in gut health now. And if we go back to the beginning of time, it was Hippocrates who said, all disease starts in the gut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if we heal our gut, we can heal many of our illnesses. That
mm-hmm. It's true.
Today.
It's true.
That's right. Well, I love, first of all, I'm so happy you're here, Melissa, because you're like a sister from another mister with us, for sure. But I, in the efforts of keeping our conversation, driving the conversation forward, there's a quote that we have in MinkLife Motivation: live your life your way, because no one else can do it for you. And what we are kind of talking about today is really about that lifestyle, right? And in MinkLife Motivation, we talk about lifestyle as home, leisure, and travel. And so I know that all three of those have been greatly impacted over this past year with the pandemic and all those things. But what have you guys kind of, what are some ahas that you kind of had in this new space that we've been put in about your home, your leisure, and your travel, and how to make better decisions in those areas?
It's funny because I have a lot to be grateful to this pandemic for, in reality. And one of them was rediscovering my back deck. Which I know it's crazy, but when I couldn't go to yoga class anymore, they started doing them online. And at the time, the only place where I could do yoga and have the peace that I wanted was to be out of my house because everybody else was in the house. And I started doing yoga on my back deck. And oh my God, doing yoga on your back deck to the sound of the birds and the chipmunks in the trees throwing pine cones down, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't need any music or anything. Like those natural sounds were just
Yeah.
what I needed to get into my yoga mindset. And then my next door neighbor had furniture they were getting rid of, outdoor furniture. So I put that on my deck, and half the summer that became my office. And I'm working from home, which I do. My business is 100% virtual. Lab tests get mailed to your house, and I'm doing it from my back deck. So that was a wonderful new discovery for me.
I think that's I think we all kind of discovered new parts of our home, but yeah, that's a pretty awesome one, actually.
Oh yeah.
Andrea, what about you?
Well, I love how you said this pandemic really helped you redefine so many things. I feel it's very similar in that my home was always like a station I was in and out of, right? Like a fish. I check in, check out, check in, check out. So it's now the hub, the center, like all these things. And so my family and I have gotten really creative about making it all the places we can't go to. Like recently, for a birthday party, we put out like a big movie screen and did the whole thing, projected in the backyard. My husband and I, at the end, the kids got bored because the crickets came or whatever. And we were just like, why don't we do this more often? So even still, like we were like, well, we could just sit out here and be all fun and have a big movie, even though we have a pretty big TV. But it was just something about sitting outside and enjoying the nature, to your point, that made this thing home more exciting. And so I can totally appreciate utilizing those spaces more effectively. And then actually, because we're each in our own little room right now, like, and we meet at dinner time and we're like, hey, how'd your day go? So it's really, kitchen becomes this weird meeting hub, or we meet downstairs. So what you got going on today? Like have my kids saying, so who are you meeting with today, Mom? Are you going to see my friends? And I'm like,
see my friends.
So that would be Monica and Marcia. Spent so much time with them. And so it's just been, I told my husband, I said, think about it. We were actually spending this quality time with our kids that we might not have done had this not happened. And he looked at me, he's like, only you. I said, well, yeah, I have to be grateful for whatever comes up. But, as I'm about to send one off to college, I really did get really moist-eyed about the fact that we did have this time together. So in all of its strangeness, but at the same time, we've created new things that are fun to do. So I missed that deck thing though. That sounds great.
Yeah, it does, really, right?
Yeah, for sure. Marcia, what about you?
Okay, so I guess I'm an empty nester. So my son has been gone for 2 years. And so so what I did, I started taking more time into his room, and pretty much my business is mostly virtual. Okay, most of it's virtual. So it's not like I had a problem having to adjust to virtual than being outside. But I think that I've had more time to do stuff in my office for some reason. I don't know how, considering everything's virtual, but I don't know. I guess because my scheduling is just different. But the pandemic, unfortunately, you know, I'm sorry to hear, you know, all the things that have happened to other people, you know, and my heart goes out to people with that. But it has actually switched my business, everything, my whole life, completely 180 degrees, you know, and yeah, so like I think it's more, I've kind of put things in more perspective. That's what it is. I put things in a different perspective. What's more important? Is it work, or is it the people, reaching out to people and talking to people, developing relationships with people, and not necessarily business relationships per se, but we never know who's going to end up alive or dead tomorrow. No, none of us, any of us could, anything can happen to any of us at any time. And so that's one thing that the pandemic has actually caused me to reassess in my life. And so to slow things down in my business.
Yeah, I would agree with all of y'all. There has been the pandemic, the blessing, right? Is like the curse and the blessing.
Yeah.
And I like to always say, oh, well, the pandemic was our collective timeout, right? It required us all to go into our room and think about how we've done life. And, you know, really think about what you've done with yourself. And so for me, that was literally that. It made me kind of reflect on everything, including like how we were using our space. Now, I'm already a minimalist, right? Like, so I was already on that train, but it required me to be like, I went even deeper in my minimalism to make sure that everything that was inside of my home really did bring joy, you know, had a purpose. It wasn't just holding up mental space of another thing to clean. And I got really aggressive about my travel goals, right? Like before, it's like, oh yeah, one day I had lottery ticket dreams. I've been telling people like, yeah, we all have lottery ticket dreams. Like, yeah, one day I'm gonna go down the line, have enough money and enough time, right? And I think the pandemic kind of made me like reprioritize that list, right? It's like, no, going to the movies is no longer that important, but like getting on the plane and going to see Greece before it's no longer Greece is a thing, or like, you know, like going to see different places in the world. It definitely helped me reprioritize that. But the other thing it made me realize is I don't have any leisure activity. I don't do anything for leisure. And I just had that blind spot, right? Like I enjoy, you know, when we would do stuff, it was basically business related. And so it really kind of made me think about like, wait a minute, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you actually do for fun that like has nothing to do with furthering your brain or furthering your career or, you know, learning something, like just for sheer giddy stupidness, right? And it's like, I don't do a whole lot of that. I need to do some more giddy stupidness, right? I mean, there is day drinking with my Mink socialite people, but you know, we can't do that in the pandemic. But outside of that, like I had to really kind of think about that. And so I was like, that's why I end up going for this default of like, well, what is everybody else in my house doing? Let me just sit around with them and do what they're doing, because I hadn't really curated that. And so now I definitely am in a space where I'm like, I'm going to find something fun to do that has nothing to do with learning.
You need to come hang out with me.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
Whitworth's beautiful. I want to hang out with her.
Oh,
paddleboarding this summer. I bought myself a paddleboard. I got a secondhand one on the lake, just me and the paddleboard, the sun sparkling on the water. Amazing. It's almost ski season, so I can't wait to be downhill skiing or cross country skiing. And the other awesome thing that my daughter and I figured out this year, because we couldn't travel and we both love to travel, is backcountry camping. So you hike like 15 or 20 Ks and then you camp a couple nights and do more hikes. And that was super fun.
That all sounds delightful. As soon as Canada opens their borders and let us LAs come in, we're there.
They don't want Californians.
That's the only thing. I mean, I
covering our backyard, and you can do that too.
We don't have a backyard. I live in the city.
So there's a downtown LA.
I live in downtown Los Angeles in a building with no balcony. I have no outdoor space to myself. But what has been truly a blessing as we did spend, y'all know I was in Ohio for a couple months and I was with my mother-in-law in her home. And so I did get to know her back deck, and she said the same thing you did. I didn't really, I don't really get to take advantage of this very often. I'm glad you guys are here so we can take advantage of it. So I think a lot of people out there are really probably rethinking some of the spaces in their homes. I made sure our guest bedroom was vacant so that I could have a place to escape. So that was my new opening. It's like I didn't realize how I didn't have a place to escape. So here I am in the guest room, escaping. Lovely. So, ladies, we have our next segment of the show, which is all about helping people kind of gain knowledge, right? And this particular issue came from, this particular issue came from Susan C. in Denver, Colorado. And her hot seat question is, now that you realize that the pandemic is going to basically take more time, how do we prepare for the long haul, right? We're going to be in our houses for a while. It does not seem, especially in the States, it does not seem to be getting better. So what's your advice to Susie, in Denver, on how we can do something different? How can we do it for the long haul? So I'm going to start with Marcia this time.
Okay. So I would say learn as much as you can and think like innovative. Try to think differently, because our mindsets kind of have to shift along with things that we're doing in our lives. So those are the two main things I would say. And as you learn, think about how you can apply them to your life or to your business or to whatever aspect that you're thinking about. Also, another thing is assessing, self-assessment. I'm all for that. I'm down for that, you guys. Is to think about some things, like, okay, what is it that about my life that I don't like that I can change? And if there's something that I need somebody to help me walk through, think about having a therapist, or someone that you can talk to help you guide you through that whole, because this is really kind of a stressful time for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important. Sometimes many people may not have that support. And so it's important to have a support system to help you go through the things that you are going through. So I think that I would say learn, think of innovation, a new way to shift things around that you have some control over in your life. And then self-assessment, those are things I think that would be.
What about you, Andrea?
I'm going to piggyback on what Marcia said. I think when she's sitting here, I don't know if she's a business owner, if this was just an individual calling running to us. And I, to Marcia's point, what are you curious about? I mean, I think this has been a time of discovery for a lot of people. And what a great opportunity, because there's no longer the excuse, I don't have time. Like,
It's true.
And so when my kids say I'm bored, well, they don't come to me that anymore. But when they used to, I'm like, oh, didn't you say you wanted to learn X, Y, and Z? So go do that. I mean, even in my own business or life, if there's something I don't know, people are like, you never seem like you sit still. And it's like, I'm insanely curious about so many things. I don't know if I'm going to get to them all. So it's just, I just go learn something new,
Yep.
And so, and to your point about leisure, even maybe something leisurely could be that one spark that will then like fuel you to figure out what's next for you.
It's true.
I think that we've all had to rethink so many things as business owners. We all had to rethink not being in person to being virtual, and making that as conversational and as engaging as we might have been in real life, right? IRL. And now it's like, what's the option? Not real life, NIRL? I don't know. I've been thinking, this is how I spend my time, looking for acronyms. However, I really, yes, a little squirrely in there. I definitely say, what are you curious about? I mean, there's so many things now that need or would like to be really good at, because I have to be good at this, not in real life bit. And so, and feel authentic about it. So that has been the thing I'm most curious about now. And I think all of us have to get good at that no matter what,
Yeah.
because we're just living in this space. So we can feel like, I know Melissa. Hell, I would, if I didn't know Melissa, this is what's so funny about the state we're in right now. I don't know how tall anybody is. I don't know how anybody looks. All I know is this much of everybody I know. And it really freaks me out. Like I had a dream. It's like I was in an airport and I was like, you're taller than I thought. You're shorter than I thought. Oh my God. Like, oh. And they said the same thing about me. And it was just a hilarious dream because I realized we have no physical reminders of people. We just have
Yeah.
like what they sound like. Like Melissa's voice just sounds so relaxing every time
It
she talks.
does. Gosh.
Like, oh, she's so
It
great.
does.
Like, that having a voice, like she could be in a group. I'll remember that voice and I'll know she's around, right? She's contributing, even if I took the video off, because I listen a lot, right? And so I think it's just interesting to tap into, what am I curious about? We're all here like this. We're all in the same spot. So don't think it's weird that you're doing this challenge to yourself, that you
Yeah.
want to get good at connecting with someone that's thousands of miles away. And so that's the fun of it. Have fun with it. Just dig in. Hang out with us. We're here every Monday.
Every Monday.
Yep. Hang with us.
And watch Party Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So just stay curious.
Melissa?
Yeah, that's it. I like that.
I love what both Marcia and Andrea have said and want to piggyback on all of that because I fully agree. And a couple things that I just want to add and take a little bit further from where Andrea was talking about, meeting people on Zoom or in other networking groups that are online, that who can you connect with that way? There's meetup groups, there might be high school reunions, it might be just making your own group of neighbors or of past colleagues that you've lost touch with to reconnect, and see where that takes you. Because it is truly amazing the friendships that you can make online. And even though we're all in our own individual homes, I haven't felt lonely a single day through this. Because
I know. Me either.
I'm meeting all these amazing people like you three that I never met before this pandemic, and I would never have met if this hadn't happened. Right? And it's funny because I was connecting to women recently who I thought would be really great as business partners. And as I'm introducing them to each other via email, I had this aha moment that, well, I've only known her since May, and I've only known her since July. I've never met either of them in person, and they both feel like they're lifelong friends. And so I think if there is a great opportunity to be getting out there and meeting more people. And sometimes my kids like to tease me of, where'd you travel to today, Mom? Because, like last Thursday morning, I started my day in Israel and I ended in Japan. And we have a choice. And I guess the biggest thing I want to say to anybody who's feeling like we're in this for the long haul is to don't fight it, because fighting it is just wasting energy and putting energy where it doesn't need to be. And instead, it's a choice to accept it is what it is. We're all in the same boat, but how can you make the most of it? And what can you do for leisure activities that bring you joy, for, meeting people and still being social and creating new friendships and learning? Absolutely. We've never had time before. And now we've been given this gift of time. Is it a hobby that you want to learn how to do or a skill that you want to develop? And step into that, because it's never been a better time than to learn something online than it is right now.
It's so true.
That's 100% accurate. I also walk in from all of my meetings. I'm like, back from India, back from Australia. And the 7-year-old who wanted to be an international businesswoman when I grew up was fluttering on the inside every time I have one of these meetings with someone who's not from the States. And so I 100% get that. What I guess the piece that I would probably add to everything that you guys have all said, which is 100%, is be creative and resourceful, right?
There you
That
go.
creativity, like don't be serious. Don't be serious. Be creative and resourceful, and allow your child brain to come forward, because
Yes.
what we have all done, why we all got sent to our room, I think, is because we were following a set of rules that didn't belong to us. And because they did not belong to us, it created quite a bit of miserable. Like you think about like all the things we were working so hard to get, right? And now that's null and void, right? Now it's like
Yeah.
you're not working hard for those things. You're actually now figuring out what you really need to enjoy. And so with that, be creative and resourceful for what you have, right? If you don't
Yeah.
have a whole lot of money, then you just have to be a little bit more creative about what you're going to do with that money. How can you enjoy it? What kind of meals that you can make with that much money? And just getting really creative. And one of the things that I think Marcia did after doing the program was she started cooking different dishes from around the world. And then I was inspired by Andrea's cleanse to start trying different ingredient combinations. And that kind of brought this new life to the same old space, right? Like dinner is no longer the same because it is now from a different part of the world, or it's a different texture. That was an experiment. I did a horrible job of cooking it the first time. Let me try it again the next time, right? So it created this new space where there was no newness. In our kitchen was always the same, right? And how we use different things. We've popped it. We live in a building, but we've popped a tent up in our living room, pushed the couches to the side, threw a bunch of pillows in the tent, and put waves on our TV and pretended we were at the beach for spring break, because my daughter's spring break was canceled and the beaches were closed. But that was one of those memories. And we put on music too, right? So we're like reading in our living room with the waves and the music and in this tent, all indoors. But it felt like we did something, and we did something new. So I think just no longer be serious and rigid, and really be resourceful with all the things and the people that you have in your space. And I think that will always create new,
It's
right,
true.
in your life, because you're like, oh, well, the living room is now, it's going to be a cocktail party in the living room. We're all going to get dressed up and go to the living room. And then we're going to go out, like Andrea said, and go to the backyard. And now it's a drive-in, walk-in, sit-in theater and outdoors. And having new space on your balcony, and it's now the yoga studio and also the outdoor office. And creating different unique uses of spaces that used to be something else before that are now different. So I think that creativity and resourcefulness, and whatever it is to you, like no one cares. It's your house. You do what you need to do in your own space to create that for you. And then invite your friends in. So we're definitely going to have a dinner party, all of us, I think. Maybe we can cook together, right? So Andrea
cool.
or Melissa can tell us, okay, this is what we're shopping for, and then we can all cook together.
That's a good idea.
And then eat the same meal
that
we all cooked at the same time, because half the fun of the dinner party is when you're cooking while you're drinking wine and you're like, laughing and telling stories about this, that, or the other while you're cooking, and then you sit down and enjoy it. So I think being resourceful and creative about just the things that we have already, you can really kind of create a long haul strategy to still really enjoy life. I have not actually had a single day of boredom in the pandemic.
Me neither.
Me either.
I keep saying, where are these people talking about we have all this free time? I have no idea what they're talking about.
I actually had a moment where I thought, I've created too many projects.
Yep, there we go.
That part. But so I think that is kind of really the true key to getting through this. So thank you to Susie C in Colorado for sending in your question. That was great. I hope our statements were very helpful to you. If anybody else has any questions about your personal life, your business, your branding, or your networking, please feel free to submit your questions at MinkLifeMotivationLive.com. On MinkLifeMotivation.com/live. We would love to answer your questions with our MinkLife Motivators. So we are at the end of the show, which is one of my favorite parts, actually, because we get to figure out what is happening in the world of the MinkLife Motivators. And so I'm going to go round robin and ask what's happening in your world, how you want people to connect with you, how can they follow you, how can they keep with you. And we will start with our guest, Melissa. What's going on in your world?
I actually just did a webinar last Thursday night, and I recorded it, and it is how to heal your gut so you can enjoy food again. So anybody that is struggling with food, even healthy food, and wondering, why do I still feel like crap? They might want to tune into that. So I would be happy if anybody's interested in that. If you want to email me at melissa@betterbrainhealth.info, I would be happy to send you the recording. If you just want to decide whether you want to work with me or not and book a 30-minute complimentary session and to talk about what's going on for you, you can do that at my website, betterbrainhealth.info, on the Work With Me tab. So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay. And we have Marcia.
So I just finished up my my Build Your Brand workshop. So I will start that again coming up in January. So if you guys are interested, get on the list for, it's www.thebrandnakedagency.co/workshops. Very simple. Or if you want to contact me, you can go to www.thebrandnakedagency.co/connect. And you can select one of the things you want to do. So that's basically it. Oh, and also my book is coming out. It's coming out this first quarter of this year. I'm aiming you guys for the end of January, because it's going to have some things with MinkLife principles in it as well. The Busy Entrepreneur's Guide series to branding. 60 days, developing a brand in 60 days or less. So if you want to get on that list, just give me a shout, email.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Andrea?
Let's see. Well, I'm wrapping up one of my cleanses just in time for the holidays, and I am, I don't think anyone wants to do a cleanse or a reset during the holidays. So if you're curious about all of that, you can definitely reach out to me at a variety of places, but the easiest is just my email at ajg@andreagewirtz.com, because certainly they're starting back in January. I have to set up the schedule. And I'm also busy working on helping with the licensing for, this is why there's like this little fallow period in terms of cleanses, is so that I can work on the licensing program that's leaping, starting this quarter, like the end of this quarter into the beginning of January. So good times, busy times. Like I said, I have a lot of projects. I'm like, when did I say yes to all this stuff? But it's all good. And so I definitely am, I'm around. You can find me anywhere on MinkLife, ping a thing, and definitely help you with any of those strategies for your tummy, your health, your wealth. You want to think better? We got you. I'll point you in the right direction, because if I don't, I'll point you to the right person who does. So.
Absolutely. Right over there.
Right over there.
So I have a couple of things that I want to invite everybody to. So this Wednesday, November 4th at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we are having Power Partner Networking information meeting where you'll get to meet the MinkLife Motivation community. You will learn how you can grow your own business with MinkLife Motivation as either a partner or a participant. And also you will be given the availability to give a commercial about your business so that others can learn about yours as well. If you are interested, we have put the link in the chat, or it will be in the chat very shortly. And the last thing I want to say is it's not too late to see Melissa's performance at the next global virtual conference. The passes are still on sale. You can get a 7-day pass to watch all of the playbacks. That's 24 panel discussions, 24 breakout sessions, 6 workshops, 2 downloadable action planners, and over $10,000 worth of special offers and discounts, all for $100, guys. So when you go to the website, because Melissa's on today, she gets the credit. So go ahead
Yeah.
and say who sent you. Melissa sent you, and check her out on the next globalvirtualconference.com. Get your pass, get your playbacks, and change your life, grow your business with all of the experts. I'm so excited that we had Melissa on the show today. You were absolutely phenomenal, amazing, and literally a sister from another mister. Like this is, it feels so organically just,
Well,
yes.
thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful to be here and laugh with you guys and share our cumulative knowledge with the audience and all the people out there that, are looking for some inspiration.
Yeah, MinkLife Motivation Mondays. This is how we roll. You're welcome to come back anytime. I'm sure we will be tapping on your shoulder again to
I'd
come and
love
hang
to.
out with
Thank
us.
you.
I'm sure down the line. The last little piece is what's happening next week. We are going to get into your business processes with Val Lowe, and we want to give a special thanks to everybody who makes MinkLife Motivation special. Alana, who is always behind the scenes, helping us get things together. All of my guests today, Headshots by Peggy for all the promotional things. I want to let you all know that you have the power to activate the vision within. And with that, I want you to know that sharing is caring. Hit the share button, hit the like button. If you know someone who could probably use a little pick me up and a laugh and a crew to hang out with, share it with them because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for being a part of this Monday with us. We see you, even though it's virtually, and we know that you can make it through anything that you want to if you put your mind to it. This is your life. Live it your way. Thank you so much and have a good, fabulous week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.